Peppy, welcome to Channel One.
Thank you very
much. It's a privilege to have you here.
My pleasure, Dimitris.
Okay. So first of all, tell us about the 60s with the blues MAGOOS. You know, some stories.
What part? Sex, drugs, or rock and roll?
All together, maybe.
All together.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
I'm sure.
There was a lot of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. The 60s were great because everything was new. You know, everything in the United States was new. The world was in a crazy place. And for the United States, it was probably the most amazing decade of the century. So to me, to be living in New York, a kid, 15, 16, 17 years old, with a hit record was fabulous.
Fantastic, yeah.
Because I got to travel everywhere. You know, I was a little teenager with a bank account. You know,
yeah.
So I would wake up one day and they would say they're going to have a big lovin' in L.A. And I would go to the bank, take some money, go to the airport and say, I'm going, because 250,000 people would show up in the park stoned, dancing and tie-dyes and drugged out and crazed. It was crazy.
It's like a movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, any memories from the Who or Herman and Hermits period time?
Yeah, well, in the United States, we toured with the Who and Herman's Hermits in 1968, and this was the big tour that broke the Who in the United States. So this was their really first exposure, and we all went out on the same plane the whole summer. Everybody. We went there, the souvenir guys, the merchandise, everybody. We're all on this big plane, and we toured all over the United States for the whole summer of 1968. So I was a crazy person because I was the only guy who would still go out with Keith Moon at night because he was out of his mind, you know. And we had a birthday party for him in a place called Flint, Michigan. Yeah. And the next morning, the ceiling from the restaurant had to be redone. The pool had to be drained. And they had to get all the glass out of the pool. In the parking lot, 9 cars had to be repainted. Because this is how crazy he was.
Amazing.
He was
unbelievable.
He was totally destructive. And we would go into a place, and in Chattanooga, Tennessee, we went, the whole tour pulled in. And, you know, a tour that size, it takes a while to check everybody into the hotel. Yeah. So they say it's going to be a few minutes. You guys relax. So Keith says, come on, Nate, come on. He drags me across the street to a bar. But it's 1968 in the deep south of America. And so me and Keith Moon walk into a bar, and you see bar stools, 30 bar stools. And back then we called them rednecks. You know, y'all like Southern guys like to kick their butt, you know, that kind of stuff. And all I see is 30 guys do this and look at us, and they say, look at these 2 fairies, because they think we're gay. They don't know what we are. So Keith Moon, this is all he hears, is look at these 2 fairies. He picks up a bar stool and breaks it over the guy's back. And in 5 seconds, I'm on the floor with 10 guys hitting me. And I crawl out with no clothes on. My chest is all scratched. And I go back into the lobby of the hotel and say, go get him. Get him.
Come on.
Get him. Oh, yeah. Lots of stories like that.
Come on.
Yeah, it was crazy. But it was fabulous because the Blues MAGOOS, we wore electric suits.
Yeah.
So we would come on in electric suits, and then the Who would come on and smash the gear. The people went crazy, you know.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, Pepe, what about your future plans, your new project? Give us a picture.
Well, you know, now it's all these decades later. So I'm like cult in different corners of the world with all the different bands I've had.
Yeah.
So the Blues MAGOOS are the pioneers of psychedelic rock and roll.
Of course.
We were the first band in the United States to have a commercial success doing this genre of music. So we're always one of the, every 10 years a new generation comes along and goes, wow, look at what these guys did in the 60s, you know. So we're back just to enjoy that, and we're actually recording again. and we're having fun. So I'll do that a little bit. My good friend Sakis over here, who has rockpages.com. Yes, are we right? Yeah. So he's a great friend now, like you. And I had a band, Balance, and we just did a reunion record on Frontiers Record, a label out of Italy. That's been out for a while. And then my little band, Barnaby Bye, which has the Alessi brothers, we were together in the 70s. So I will do all these three bands. And now I have a musical I wrote 10 years ago called X-Star. And it's a pop opera, you know.
Interesting.
And I'm going to do this in New York in the spring to raise money for backers with one of the founders of VH1 in the States, at his place in New York. And I then, after my wife passed away, I made a promise to myself that I would just put a collection of my songs that I wrote after she passed away, and call it Peppy Castro's Therapy Tour. So that's the CD I gave you. So you have a sneak preview of
thank you very much.
What I want to do.
It's an honor.
So
Okay, Peppy.
Enjoying life.
Of course,
you know.
of course. The most important lesson.
Yeah.
Peppy, any comment for the Greek fans here, maybe?
You know, I always thought Balance would bring me to Greece.
Yeah.
You know, because Sakis keeps us alive, and people like Sakis keeps the memory of Balance alive. It's nice, you know. But all of a sudden we hear the Blues MAGOOS will play here. So that's fun too, you know. So we'll see what happens. I think if people come to the show, they'll love the band, love seeing that these guys were together in 1968, and after 42 years, they're
42
back.
years.
42 years, yeah.
Okay, Peppy.
So it'll be fun to see people show up, you know.
It's a rock and roll journey.
What?
A rock and roll journey.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
My pleasure, Sakis.
Okay.
Yes, and my blessings to all the people of Athens. What a beautiful place, you know. You grow up as a kid and you always hear the history of Athens and how old everything is here. So to witness it and see it in its modern day is like taking drugs.
Okay, baby. Thank you very much again.
My pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Great.